Welcome to this short but potent practice that will bring you to fly to create spaciousness in the inner groin and thigh area. We'll explore different shapes, including compass pose in a seated position, as well as bird of paradise. So in this practice, it will be possible for you to come into a half or full bind, but please choose the option that works for you, that is accessible for you. So we're going to begin in a comfortable seated position. We'll take 3 deep breaths here, exhaling through your nose, inhaling, growing up to the back of your head with your spine. Let's try that. Deep breath in. Long breath out, relaxing the shoulders down, sending the breath down to the space of your inner groins, your inner hips. And then inhale, visualizing those spaces, growing more open. Let's try that 2 more times. Exhale to release and soften that area. And then inhale, growing that area up. One last time. Exhale, send the breath to your inner groin and thigh. And inhale, grow the back of your head up to the sky. Now, very slowly and gently, if your eyes are closed, let them blink open. Or let your hands come to the outer knees. Keeping the connection with your outer knees, we'll come into a couple rounds of Sufi rolls. About 10 of these rolls in each direction. Feel free to add some movements in your wrists, your shoulders, your spine. And when you come to the end of that 10th round, let's reverse the direction. Same movement in an opposite direction. I like to breathe out to fall forward and breathe in to rise up. See if that feels good for you. When you come to the end of that last round, give your shoulders a little shake, a little wiggle. Now we'll come into a few rounds of seated cat-cow. As you breathe in, roll the shoulder blades back, lift your chest, shine your heart to the sky. As you breathe out, round the spine and hollow in. Let's try 2 more of these. One very last one, following your own rhythm, your own pace. Great. Now, slowly and gently, we're going to bring your feet together in a Baddha Konasana position. Start by flapping your wings. We'll flap them for the next 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now from here, press down through the fingertips. Let them connect with either your legs or the ground. Breathe in to find length, and then breathe out. We'll gently begin to fold. We won't stay here for long, just about 5 breaths. Every breath in, see if you can create some spaciousness and length through the sides of your waist. Every breath out, find a little give, a little softness. Now, slowly and gently, with your next breath in, rise through your spine. From here, we're going to step your left foot out. So you come into a half Malasana-like position with one foot, and the other foot is in a cross-legged position. Let your left hand or the outer left arm press against the inside of the left thigh. If your left fingertips can connect with the ground, let them connect with the ground. If not, you can let them touch onto a block or some form of support. Let the two magnetize and connect with each other. Connecting with the earth, lengthen your spine and see if you can let your heart and your right hand shine all the way up to the sky. We'll stay here breathing in and out, looking up to the sky for the next 3, 2, 1. Now the option is to stay here, or you might bend your right elbow and let it wrap behind you. Keep rolling your shoulder blades back, finding lift and openness through the heart. You might stay with your left palm and left fingertips on the ground, or you might let them loop underneath your leg and bend the left elbow to come into either a half or full bind, whatever is accessible for you today. Once you find that bind, find extra lift through the spine. And we'll stay here breathing in and out for the next 3, 2, 1. Now, keeping this lift, you might stay here. You might also lean slightly towards your right bum. And you find that your left foot can gently begin to lift off, maybe just slightly, even with the half bind. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you start to lengthen and lift that leg up. We'll stay here breathing in and out for 3, 2, 1. Good. Now slowly and gently release that foot down. Slide that leg long. And we'll point the toes, then flex the ankle and really activate all 5 of your toes. Let your left palm once again connect with the earth. And as you breathe in, shine your right palm up to the sky. Your right lungs, your right ribs reach up. And as you breathe out, see if you can create some spaciousness through the side of the body. And you'll find that perhaps you want to round in, see if you can keep reaching up and beyond. So it's really a side stretch here to create spaciousness through the right lung, right armpit, intercostal muscles, and underneath your left leg. Staying here for 3, 2, 1. Great. Breathe in, rise up. Point the left toes, press down through your right palm behind you, and then see if you can find a lift as you shine your hips up. Lengthen your left fingertips up to the sky for 3, 2, 1. Breathing out, release. Let's begin to flow between these. We'll reach towards your extended leg. Right arm comes to the side. And then breath in, rise up. Push through the right palm, lift the hips up. And then softly release. Let's try this one more time. Left arm on the inside of the left thigh, right side of the waist long and spacious. You rise up with your breath, plant the right palms down, shine your heart up to the sky in your back bend, and then exhale and slowly release. Great, now we'll cross both feet, coming back into the butterfly position. Just take a moment to flap out any differences, and now we'll balance out the other side. From here, lengthening your right foot onto the ground and your left foot is in a cross-legged position. Take a moment to find this position that feels stable for you. And then you can bring your right arm on the inside of your right thigh. Feel them connect and attract each other or resist each other. Let your right fingertips connect with the earth. Pressing down, feeling that connection and anchoring through the earth. Inhale, lift your heart, shine your chest and your fingertips up to the sky. Keep looking beyond your left shoulder, your left fingers. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, on this side, the option is to stay here, or you might bend your left elbow and let it rest behind you. Find lift with the spine. Length with your inhale. Exhale, soften, and see if you can let your right palm thread underneath your right leg. Maybe just halfway, or maybe you can bend the elbow and find that connection with your left fingertips and adjust the position of your foot so you find that stability. You might even lean slightly towards your left bum to find that the right foot can lift off slightly. Once you find that, anchor through your left sit bones and lengthen through your spine. Then reach your right leg away from you for 3, 2, 1. And slowly release. Let that go. Great. Now we'll slide your right leg out through the side. Let your right fingertips come on the inside of your right thigh, calf, or ankle. And then sweep your left hand up and off through the side. Keep rolling your chest upwards towards the sky. Feel the whole lateral flexion, the side stretch from the left waist towards the left armpit and the left palm for 3, 2, 1. With the next breath in, rise with your breath. Let the left palm come behind you. We'll point the right toes now. As you press down through the back palm, breathe in to find lift. Rise onto the right toes, left knee and left palm. Shine your heart up to the sky. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. And now we'll move between the two, reaching to the side, coming into the side stretch. Let your breath in bring you up. And then breath out, shine your heart back up. And slowly release. Let's try this one more time, following your own rhythm, your own breath. A whole side stretch. Feel the length underneath your right leg. And then feel the heart opening as you point your right toes. Shine your heart up to the sky. Then when you're ready to release, let everything come back down. Good. Now slowly and gently, we're going to bring the feet slightly wider than hip distance apart. And see if you can bring the outer corners of your arms against the insides of the thighs. And you might let the palms touch if that is accessible for you, or you might hold on to your forearms, whatever feels good. And we're going to activate, keep resisting the outsides of your arms against the insides of the thighs, and find length through the spine here. Breathing in and out for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Now slowly and gently release. Bring the feet together. You can give yourself a big hug and rock side to side if that feels good for you. And then very slowly and gently, we're going to rise to stand to come for the next part of today's session. For the next part of the class, it might be helpful to prepare the yoga mat horizontally so we explore left and right rather than front and back. And this part of the class will be mandala style, where we start on one side, we finish off on the other, we start on the other side, and we finish off where we began. So let's start with your feet about hip distance apart. Exhale to relax the shoulders down, connect with the earth. Inhale, lengthen the back of your head, the whole of your spine, your heart connecting with the heavens. With the next breath in, let your hands sweep up, maybe coming into a slight back bend. And then as you breathe out, folding forward, coming as low as it feels good for you. With the next breath in, lengthen the spine forward, halfway lift. As you exhale, step your right foot back. Let the right knee drop down. Anjaneyasana, low lunge position. Breathing in, sweep the arms up towards the sky. Inhaling, finding lift through the spine. Exhaling, finding softness in the pelvis and the shoulders. Staying here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now slowly and gently let the palms come down to the ground. We'll shift the hips slightly back as you tuck the back toes under for extra support if that feels good for you. And slide the front heel away from you, coming into half splits. Breathing in, finding lift through the spine. Breathing out, finding surrender and softness as you bow to the earth for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly with your next breath in, coming back briefly into a low lunge position. Then place your left hand on the inside of the left thigh and your right hand right underneath your shoulder. You might step your left foot out slightly to the edge or even outside of your yoga mat as you come into a variation of a lizard lunge position. From here, we'll tuck the back toes under and lift the back knee off the ground. If you would like to, you can stay in the stationary lizard, or you can join me as we pulse backwards, lengthening both legs, shifting both hips back, and then lunging forwards as you reach the front knee and back heel away from you. If you're pulsing, we'll do this 2 more times. And when you come to the end of that very last round, you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to come into a lower lizard, maybe with the forearms down onto the ground. Staying here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now slowly let the back knee drop down. Let the hands come back onto the ground, connecting you with the earth. Let the back foot turn towards your bum so that you turn towards the camera, and walk your hands between your legs so they come closer towards your right thigh. And see if you can sit as if you're in a child's pose position on your right leg, and your left foot instead is in almost like a malasana squat-like position. So we return to the same groin opening movement in a slightly different orientation. Let the left palm anchor down to the earth, connecting left outer arm with the inner thigh, and then reach your right hand up to the sky. Let's stay here breathing in and out for 3, 2, 1. Option to stay here. Option to bend the right elbow and reach it behind you. Find lift first, and then breathe out, maybe soften and thread your left arm underneath you so you come back into that bind position. Roll the shoulder blades back, shine your heart. Stay for 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's slowly release. From here, breathe in, rise up. And breathe out, release. Breath in, imagine you gather this breath into your heart, and breathe out, release. One last time, breath in and breath out. And now this time instead of turning towards your left, we turn towards what was the back of your yoga mat, towards the right side this time. Step back into plank briefly, come into downward facing dog. And from here, gently and slowly cycle through your downward facing dog into chaturanga position, or half push-up, or knees, chest, chin. Back into cobra or up dog, downward facing dog. And then we'll stay for 5 breaths here, breathing in and out, finding that spaciousness through the spine. Finger pads connected with the earth, heels lengthening to the ground. Tailbone reaching up to the sky. 1 more breath. Slowly looking forward towards your palms. Softly begin to step forward or jump forward. Exhale to fold. Inhale, reach the palms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, bring the palms back into heart center. Now let's try the same on the other side. Breath in, arms sweep up. And breath out, begin to fold halfway and then all the way. Breathing in, lengthen the spine. Breathing out, folding forward as you step your left foot back this time. Left knee comes down, untuck the back toes. Breathing in, finding your Anjaneyasana, low lunge position. Every inhale gives you a bit of lift. Every exhale gives you some softness in the groin, in the shoulders, in the heart. Staying here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. With your next exhale, gracefully let the palms float down. Tuck the back toes under and shift the hips back as you glide the front heel forward. You might use some blocks for support if your fingers can't quite reach the ground. If the back knee feels quite uncomfortable, you're welcome to double pad the yoga mat with a blanket or towel to support the back knee. Press through the fingertips to find lift. Draw the belly in. And exhale, folding forward as you find and create that spaciousness underneath your right leg for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. With the next breath, softly shift forward back briefly into a low lunge position. And now replace your right hand so it comes on the inside of your right thigh. And you can shift your right foot off to the side. So maybe it touches the border or even comes off the yoga mat. Your left palm is right underneath you. You might stay here Or you might tuck the back toes under and lengthen the back heel while you bend the front knee to come into that lunge position. Maybe you stay here in a lizard lunge variation, or maybe you pulse as you breathe in. Lift the hips up and straighten both legs. Exhale, rainbow the hips as you spread and anchor through the back heel and bend through the front knee. If you're pulsing, we'll do this 2 more times. Great. Now, as you come to the end of that last round, you might stay here. You might drop the back knee down, untuck the back toes, and come into your forearm lizard position. Creating spaciousness here for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. With the next inhale, let the palms reconnect with the earth. Lift the back knee off, find that connection, and then maybe the back knee comes back down. You turn the back foot in the direction towards your bum. So you step the foot towards the side of the yoga mat lengthwise, and you start to walk your hands so that they are right between both of your legs so that you can sit your left bum on your left heel and you can inch your right foot in the malasana-like position, garland pose-like position here in the yogic squat position. Let the right outer arm begin to magnetize and connect with the inner right thigh. And as you keep that connection, press through the fingertips, find lift, and then shine your heart and your left palm up to the sky. We'll stay here breathing in and out for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you bend the left elbow and you place it right behind your back. Maybe you thread that palm so it comes towards the back of the middle of the thigh. Or maybe you reach your right palm underneath. You can lean slightly forward. And then once again, once you found that bind, find that lift and openness through the heart space for the next 5, 4, relaxing your face. 3, maybe the corners of your mouth turn up. 2, 1. Good. Let's slowly and gently release. From here, breathing in, we rise up. Bring the palms together. As you breathe out, let your heart shine outwards. Breath in, you receive some shine. Breath out, you send it out into the wall. One last time in. And from the hips through the heart, you shine it out. From here, we'll turn towards your left knee, the side we started from, and then come briefly into a plank position. Plank to downward facing dog. And then from downward facing dog, shifting forward into a plank, moving through your vinyasa, whatever that looks like. And gently coming into downward facing dog. We'll stay here breathing in and out for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From downward facing dog, begin to lengthen your left leg up to the sky in a 3-legged dog position. Bend the left knee, reach that knee up to the sky. Then bring the knee into the nose as you step forward into a warrior 2 position. Turn the back foot out. The front foot still faces the left side of the yoga mat. Front knee bends as you breathe in, cartwheel the hands up to settle into your warrior 2 position. Find that spaciousness through the inner left groin and that strength through the left thigh and bum. Staying here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now as you breathe in, curl the fingers in. Find that strength. Breathe out, pulse out, bend through the front knee, palms push away. 2 more times. Breath in, strength. Breath out, fluidity. One last time. Strength, fluidity. Now bring the left arm on the left thigh and sweep the right arm by the side of the ear, extended side angle. You might stay here. You might let the left palm come on the inside of the left thigh as you push the left arm against the left thigh. And maybe you stay here. Maybe you lean slightly forward as you loop and come into a half or full bind. And if you're able to come into a half or full bind, take a moment to find lift through the spine. Again, you're welcome to stay here. The next step is to shift the weight forward to step the back foot to come into bird of paradise. We start by stepping the back foot in 1 or 2 steps forward. Shift the weight towards the right foot. Let the left heel come off the ground and then slowly rise with control without rushing. At any point of time, if you feel like you need to ground, you can come back down. And then once you've found that lift, take a moment here, anchor through your right foot, and then reach that left leg away from you for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Softly bend the left knee, place it back down, step back briefly into the lunge position with the bind. And then if you want to, come into bound triangle pose. Staying here, lengthening the spine, leaning your heart back for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now release the bind, palms come to frame the front foot. Step the back foot in just half a step. Breathe in to find lift, pyramid pose. Breathe out to find softness. We'll stay here, breathing in and out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now from here, bend through the front knee, lengthen the back heel, come briefly into a runner's lunge. Walk the hands all the way to the opposite side. Coming into the runner's lunge on the other side, lift this time your right leg up to the sky, 3-legged dog, come into a 3-legged plank, and move through your vinyasa, whatever that looks like for you. We'll stay for 5 breaths in your downward facing dog for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This time the right leg lifts up to the sky. Bend the right knee, step the right foot forward, turn the left foot forward, and then breathe in, warrior 2 position facing the other side. Find that anchor and that connection through the inside of your right thigh and the outside of the back foot, and let the front knee bend, let the arms begin to float at the height of your shoulders, let your drishti, your eye gaze, look beyond your right fingertips for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. With the next breath, breathe in, find strength, straighten the front leg, come into your bicep curl, breathe out, find softness. 2 more rounds, following your own pace, your own rhythm. When you come to the end of that last round, let your right forearm come on your right thigh. Sweep the left arm by the side of the ear and keep rolling your chest upwards to the sky. Feel whole energy line from the outer left foot towards the sides of the waist, towards your left fingertips. Extended side angle. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you stay with your right palm or fingertips connected with the earth. If you're here, maybe you come into a half or full bind by bending your left elbow behind you, leaning slightly forward, let the fingers clasp. Once they clasp, lean back, find that spaciousness, bend through the front knee. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Transition to half bird of paradise on this side. Step the back foot in 1 or 2 steps. Shift the weight towards the left foot. Lift the right heel off the ground. Softly press down through the standing foot to find lift and length. Take a moment here as you roll the shoulder blades back. Draw in through the core. And then slowly lengthen that heel, that leg away from you for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Great work. Now soften the foot back down. Again, 1 or 2 steps back. And then coming into bound triangle pose. Lean back to open your heart. Lengthen that front leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the bind. Let the hands frame the front foot. Step the back foot in just half a tiny step. Maybe your hands stay on blocks, or maybe they fold down to touch towards the earth. Press to connect with the support of the ground to find lift as you draw your belly in. And as you exhale, fold forward to find surrender for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now slowly and gently begin to bend the front knee and step the back foot into a runner's lunge. We'll walk the foot back, walking the hands all the way once again to the starting position so that you're facing towards where you began. And then begin to, from this runner's lunge position, lift your left leg up to the sky, 3-legged dog, and then come into 3-legged plank. From 3-legged plank, chaturanga or knees, chest, chin, upward facing dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. 5 deep and full inhalations and exhalations in your downward facing dog at your own pace, your own time. When you feel ready, softly bend through the knees and come briefly into child's pose. Today we'll come into a rounded child's pose with the knees together, the arms draped by the side and your head touching the ground. You're welcome to linger here if this feels good. If you feel ready to transition, slowly breathe in, rise up. And breathe out, take a moment in hero pose, settling here, noticing how it feels in the inner groin and thigh area, through your legs. And then very slowly and gently, we'll begin to lie on your back. Bend both knees. And from here, we'll press down through the feet and reach your arms forward. This is the only core work officially that we'll do for today. Make sure all 10 toes connect with the earth. We'll round the spine to really activate the core muscles here as we reach down. Fingers reaching forward, spine rounding, draw the belly in, magnetize the legs towards each other for the next 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, draw the belly in, 5, 4.5, 4, 3.5, 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5, 1, half, last quarter, and slowly release, coming back. Lying down, noticing how that feels. Taking a moment to feel the support of the ground underneath you. Feeling your breath. Now from here, we're going to come into eagle legs. The option might be to cross your left thigh over your right. I am your mirror in this case, and maybe you stay with this option. You might also double cross your ankles if that is accessible for you. The point is to squeeze the inner thighs against each other. Today, we've done lots of opening, abduction, meaning moving the legs away from each other. So we want to finish off by balancing to close and squeeze them into the midline. Maybe you stay here. Maybe if you'd like to come into a spinal twist, you can let the knees fall over to your right side. And you can adjust how high or how low the knee is with regards to your hip. It will change where you feel this twist in the spine. For your hands, they can rest on your chest, the sides of your body, on the yoga mat. They can be in a T shape or cactus arms, whatever feels good for you. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. You're welcome to linger here if it feels good. If you feel ready to transition to the other side, slowly and gently roll back on your spine, uncross the legs. Take a moment to notice how that feels coming back into the starting point. And then now we'll try the other side. Cross your right thigh over your left this time. Maybe you stay with the thighs squeezing against each other, or maybe you even cross the ankles if that is accessible for you. Whatever feels best. And then from here, slowly and gently, once you've found that midline and connected to that midline, then slowly you can shift your hips as you let your right knee fall over towards your left. The hands can be in any position, in a T, in cactus, on the yoga mat, or maybe on your body. I quite like to rest my hands along the sides of my ribs to feel the expansion and the contraction of my breath, of my lungs, embracing my heart. Soften your gaze as we stay here for about 4 more breaths. You're also welcome to stay here if this feels good. Always welcome. If you feel ready to transition, slowly coming back through the center, uncrossing those legs. Maybe you can hug your knees into your chest if that feels good. You can rock a couple of times, massaging the back of the spine. And then let's take the next 5 beats for any kind of movement, any kind of pose that feels good for you for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If and when you begin to feel ready to come into a very brief, short micro relaxation, then slowly and gently let yourself come into the position that feels restful for you. This might be a more traditional looking Shavasana where the legs are straight, arms are by the sides. It might be with your knees bent and your last part of the tailbone tucked under, feet hip distance apart. If you feel like rounding your spine, you might widen your knees, widen your feet and let the knees come in, knocking your knees in. This will scoop the last part of your tailbone. Those of you who want to create even more spaciousness in the inner groin, if you feel that feels good for you, then you can choose the opposite, where the knees move apart and the feet come together in Baddha Konasana. So you choose what feels good for you. And we're going to stay for about 15 breaths. Let the hands rest in any position that feels restful. Closing your eyes if that feels good for you. Every exhale, imagine you send your breath to the inner groin and thigh area. Every inhale, you feel that area pulse and send breath back to your heart. Every exhale is a letting go. Every inhale is a blossoming open. You're very welcome to stay here if this feels good for you. You're also very welcome to, if you feel ready to conclude this practice, slowly and gently, if your legs are straight, letting your fingers, your toes, your legs begin to move. Bend one and then both knees. Slowly roll over to the side of your preference. Take a moment, maybe even lengthen one bicep underneath your ear to form a pillow for your head to rest on. Exhale to soften against the ground. And from this softness with the next breath in, use the support of your palms to slowly push yourself up into a seated position. Coming into a seated position, we'll gently and slowly relax the shoulders down. Exhale to sink and release the weight of your body down. Inhale, growing the back of your head up to the sky. We bring both palms together in front of the chest. From here, exhale from the heart, send the breath down towards the hips, inner groin. From the inner groin, let it blossom and let it shine. Next breath from the hips all the way back up to the heart. Feel that connection with the deeper layers, the lower chakras, energy centers of you and your heart space. Let your head bow down towards your heart, taking a moment to send gladness and gratitude to that space of safety, of anchoring, of fluidity. And then slowly and gently, if your eyes are closed, let them blink open. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope you enjoyed this fun, funky practice where we flew in Bird of Paradise and we were exploring different angles and compass pose. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.